Hello and welcome back to my channel, Bookish Lady Night, where we get a look behind the book. Today is episode 2 in my narrator series, and I am very excited because I have Stephanie Rose here today. And if you have heard her, like I have heard her, I found her through Rolling Hills by Shel Sloan and Meant for Stone by Natasha Madison. And lastly, the Vegas Heat series by Lisa Suzanne. Loved it. So good. So I'm very, very excited to have you on. So thank you for joining me today.
My gosh, thank you for having me. I didn't know that those were the way that you found me. I'm so excited. Those are some of my best, most favorite reads. So
Loved them. I loved them. So I actually was on the ARC team for Rolling Hills and I'm on her team. So that's how I originally found you because I got the advanced listener copies and they were so good. Oh,
well,
I still
I'm
listen to
obsessed
them.
with Shel Sloan. I mean, we did a bunch of lives together and I want to do a book with her so I can just get her on live so I can talk with her. I just want to
Yes.
chat.
Yes. She's amazing. I actually did an interview with her
Me too.
last year and she's just like my idol. She's so cool. She's
So
so cool.
cool.
Yes, exactly.
I love writers. I really
Yes,
do.
I do. The way their mind works and the stuff that they give, you to say and me to read, it is so cool.
It is so cool. We love you, writers. Thank you for
Exactly.
being so cool.
We do. We totally fangirl. So for anyone who might not immediately recognize you by your name, how do
Yes.
you usually introduce yourself?
Well, I'm a romance audiobook narrator, is what I would say. Of over 400 romance books, I've done over 550 in my life of other genres, but just romance, it's going to be over 400.
That's incredible.
It's a lot of books. It's
That
a lot of
is.
books. Here's what I'll say. I will say about myself is that I am a super extrovert trapped in an introvert's job. I love my job, but getting to talk with you is the highlight of my week. I'm just like, please, let's talk more. Let's interact. Let's see each other's faces. And so I do a lot of lives on TikTok and Instagram as much as I can so that I can talk with people and interact and have, my coworkers basically. TikTok is my workplace.
Yeah, I've been on a lot of your lives. I love watching them and hearing you talk and like doing the different and you're like, "How do I pronounce this? Wait, how do I say this?" And then you'll like work through it. It's so cool to see all of that like behind the scenes.
Very behind the scenes. I'm always there. Come hang
I
out with
love
me. I want you. I want
Yeah,
to hang out with you.
definitely do it. So, you mentioned that you have some exciting upcoming things we can look forward to. Do you want to share that?
Oh, yes, I do, Catherine. So glad you asked. What a surprise. So it's out of nowhere. Well, okay, so this was actually a long time ago. In 2019, I wrote and released an audiobook musical for adults called Lustily Ever After, which was like a comedy parody of romance novels, which is, you wonder, why would I do that? So, so that was like my love child in 2019. We got an Audie Award nomination. We got an Earphones Award. It was so exciting. I was at the Audies in 2020 on the red carpet in March of 2020, arrived home and someone said, maybe you shouldn't unpack your suitcase yet. And I was like, why? Because there's this virus going around. I was like, probably fine.
Goodness. Oh my god.
So that was this musical's introduction into the world was like big things were happening. I was so excited. I wanted to put it up on stage. That was my whole goal. And
Yeah.
instead we had a pandemic.
Oh my god.
So
That's
now
like
it's
the worst
2020.
timing. I know. It was the worst timing for a lot of things. And it was so horrible.
It was so horrible. And now, of course, I have kids and life and all that stuff. So now it's 2026. And we have finally adapted the musical that was an audiobook into a stage musical. And we are putting it up this June, 2026, at the Hollywood Fringe Festival in Los Angeles. It is wildly, ridiculously fun. And it has so many inside jokes, so many Easter eggs. Anytime I get a romance reader to read the script, they are like, oh my God, I got everything. And I'm like, yes, you got everything. It is so, so fun. And we're actually also doing a little crowdfunding campaign, if this is
Okay.
released next week, coming
Yeah.
up to help us pay the actors and pay for the space. So definitely look at my socials for all that stuff. It's going to be posted there, and I'm going to be, asking for your support and your
Yeah, and
love.
I'll link it below too, so you can find it in
Thank
this episode
you. Okay, good.
also.
Yes, as we are birthing this child into the stage.
I love that. Okay, so I am not far from LA. So is this something where I can get tickets and like go?
Yes, you
Okay.
have to
Is
come.
it all sold out or like can I still get
No,
tickets?
no, no, no. We haven't started selling tickets yet. So this Fringe Festival has like a ton of shows, and we're gonna start selling tickets closer to the time of the show in June. We're just prepping right now. We're still getting like casting together, and oh, and here's a hot tip actually that we haven't yet announced is that I tried to cast someone else in the lead role,
Mhm.
and the director and the casting director were like, "We don't. We're just trying to look for someone like you. Could you just do it?" And I was like, "I don't know. I don't
Are you
know.
gonna do it?
I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it." So you can come see me live singing and dancing
I
on the
totally be
stage.
there. I'll be in the front going, "Woohoo!" That's so
Yay!
cool that you combined my love of books and music together. So I went to theater school in high school, and then I did a lot of plays, and I used to sing. I used to sing at the state fair and the Diamondbacks games in Arizona. I sang the national anthem there. Like,
What?
yeah. So you just
What?
combined like everything I love in one thing.
I'm like, this is everything I love, and this is just what I want all the time.
Yeah.
I'm so
That's
glad.
Oh,
Yay!
that's so cool. I'm definitely going, and I'm gonna bring all my,
Oh,
like,
please
friends that are
do.
local that we go to book festivals and book events.
Yes! Like everyone's book club should just like come there instead
Yes. Yeah.
on their book
Yeah.
club night.
Yes. This is your notice right now, everybody, that you need to go. Like, there's no
Yes,
question.
please come see us. We're in LA. We're also going to have a live stream option if you're not in LA so that you can see it another way because it's pretty fun and we want to show
That
it to
is
you.
amazing. That, like, is amazing. I cannot wait. So cool. That
Yay!
is
Oh my
so,
God, that
so
makes my
cool.
day. Yes, musical theater and romance. I mean, what's not to love?
Yeah, exactly. That's so cool. And then maybe one day it'll be a movie for the people that
My
don't
dream.
go to theater. And they can go like, you
For
should go
the
to
non
theater
goers.
movies too. You'll just be on all
Listen,
versions.
audiobook, the movie, the Broadway musical, the whatever else we can do with it, the
Yeah.
TV series,
Yes.
do it.
Yes,
The
you should.
podcast.
You could feature other genres, like, you could go into talk you could do, like, something spin on, like, maybe dark romance or fantasy, and you could, like,
Yes.
do all of that in there. Ooh, that would be so good.
I would love nothing more than to write a sequel to this show. Like, right, so as it stands right now, we have a billionaire romance that turns into a romantasy.
Love that.
We've got two.
Yes. Yes. Okay, so you could do that. You could turn it then into, like, small town cowboy romance, like, you could go so many ways.
Please, I want to
Yes.
do all of those things. I just want to keep writing more of these forever. Crazy Ex Girlfriend. The new Crazy Ex Girlfriend should be this show.
Yes. That would
In
be
case
good.
any producers are listening,
Yes.
I'm looking for the
Yes.
new Crazy Ex Girlfriend. I found it. You're welcome.
I love that. That sounds so much fun. Oh my golly. You could do so much, and you could even, like, incorporate, like, indie authors to, like, give maybe bits of their certain books to be a part of it, and then it's readapted to fit in the flow of the
Oh my God, 100%. We're actually doing that right now. So if you are an indie author and you want to sponsor us a little bit or whatever, contribute, merch or
Yeah.
swag or anything, discount codes, let me know because we are partnering up. We just actually had a call with the Ripped Bodice and we're going to do some partnering with them.
Love the Rip Otis. I go there all the time. We should totally do a live, and, like, I would totally do a live with you about it, and we can talk about it.
Oh my God, I would love that. Let's set it up. I'll do lives constantly. Love it. I need it.
Love that. So, if you could describe your narrator voice in 3 words, what would they be?
In 3 words. Oh gosh, this is tough. I don't have like branding already set. I would say young. I get cast for a lot of young things like college, early 20s. Conversational. I try to keep it real conversational when I'm narrating. Like, I don't want to sound like I'm reading because why would you want to listen to that? And, 3 words. Okay. Young, conversational. I guess connected. I always want to be really connected when I'm reading and I really want to, honor the character
Yeah.
that I'm being. And so that's very important to me. So, oh, I like that. That's good. I'm going to use that now. Branding.
Yes, I like that. I
Write
like
that
to
down.
ask 'cause I know, like, sometimes your voice that you're putting on the audiobook can be slightly different than your everyday voice. Like I feel like when you get in your office mode, it might change a little bit, the tone, the richness. You might flex your vocal folds depending on what you're trying to portray. So it can be different than, your
Mhm.
everyday voice. So I always like to ask like how you envision it for yourself and what you think it is, because I think it's fascinating.
I mean, I hope that my voice is not that different than my everyday voice, because then I would feel like I'm acting or I'm like putting on a voice. January LaFoy said something very interesting, which was that your narrator voice is just a voice that you would use if you were on a road trip and you were in the back seat with someone and you're telling them a private story. Does that make sense? So it's not a whisper and it's not a different voice. It's just like if I was in the back seat with you, I would probably talk to you like this
Yeah. It
instead
wouldn't
of
be
how I'm
overly
talking to you
loud
now.
or yeah. I like
You feel
that.
like you're farther away than the back seat.
I love
So
that.
that's what I think of. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that. So what is the most common reaction people give you when they realize that you have maybe narrated a book that they've listened to?
Everyone is always excited. I have kids, like I'm in the mom pickup lines and stuff like that. And like I don't go around telling everybody, like I narrate romance novels, but when they find out, everyone's like, "Oh, you do what?" And I think it's kind of exciting because it's exhilarating and it's fun and it's something that maybe I've found the moms that are into it, who are like, I've read this and I've listened to that. And it's like a little connection point of like, I do this fun thing and I really love it. And people really love to listen to them. And hopefully you're one of them. So let's hang out.
I love that. So how did you get into it?
So I got into it a long time ago, about 10 years ago, through an actor friend who was narrating on ACX. And this was before ACX. I mean, I think ACX had just been like, or Audible had just gone public or something. It was just like so new.
Mhm.
And so I thought, I want to try something else. I want to like have some more career stability. I've been an actor for a long time. And so I started trying it and it was a really good fit for me somehow. I think some people fall into it and it just works. And that's kind of what happened for me, which was nice. I mean, it took me a few years
A few years, yeah?
just to get like I think I started 10 years ago and I went full time, I would say like 7 or 8 years ago. So, it took a little bit of time to like get to the point where like that was my only job.
Mhm.
But now I love it. It's like all I do is just tell stories all day. Like what else could be better than this? I don't
Yeah.
know.
I love that. I like it. I love this line, like, for authors, it's authors write 1,000 lives, readers walk 1,000 lives because 'cause we're living the characters, and you are speaking them into life
Hmm.
all of these different times, and I love that. It's all just we each have our own unique journey, but we're all on the same journey, so we're all
Yeah.
connected.
We're all connected. And readers are my favorite people in the world now. I mean, when I go to these reader events, these book cons and things, like I am just so happy swimming in the pool of the population. Do you know
Yes,
what I mean? With like
yes.
with the shirts and the totes and I just like love it
Mhm.
so much because everyone is so good and
Yeah.
and kind and thoughtful and like well read, obviously,
Mhm.
and just educated and I don't know, it's a
And it's
great
also like a
community.
vibe, like the energy, like, you can feel the
Yeah.
energy in a
Yeah.
room, like a signing room. I don't know if you've ever been to Love in Vegas. I hope you
Yeah,
come
I
this
did. I
year.
did it this year. But this last year I did it.
Well, you were there. I missed you. I didn't get to see you. I was there, but I was, like, all over the place, so it was really hard.
Yeah.
But, oh my golly, okay, are you going this year?
I don't know if I'm going this year, but I am signing next in 27. I'm definitely signing in 27. So
Okay, well, I'll be there as
um,
a vendor. I'm gonna have my cards there in
oh,
27, so I'll be
good.
there. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so we'll
Okay.
see
Well,
you there.
hopefully we'll have close enough to each other. We can
Yes,
just
I
like
would
hang
love
out.
that. I would love that. So,
I agree. It's a vibe. It's a
it's
very
a
good vibe.
vibe.
It's a happily ever after vibe.
And it's almost like a beehive, I kinda feel like, because everybody is so excited and all the energy is buzzing and everybody's on the same wavelength, so we're all there for, a love of reading and a love of the arts, and I just it's
Yeah.
like
A happily ever after vibe in a doom scroll world.
yes, yes,
That's what we need. We
yes,
need more of us.
yes, exactly. So what has been the most surprising or maybe profound thing that you weren't expecting but has come from being an audiobook narrator?
Love that I can connect with people. about the books that they've listened to that I've narrated. Like, I think that it's always surprising when someone's listened to a book I've narrated because I just do it by myself. So I never think like anyone's ever going to hear it. And then when they do, I'm like, oh my God, is this like a shock every time? And I also think what's most surprising to me about my career is that I didn't used to read romance. I was like a very efficient reader. I want to read educational texts. I want to read self help. I want to read parenting guides. Like I just wanted to, all get all the knowledge. And as I have become a romance reader, I have realized that actually being happy is better than being smart.
For sure, you're
From
both.
I mean, be nice we were both, but if I had to choose, you know what I mean?
Yes.
I just saw Catherine Center do this keynote speech at LoveLitCon where I was in San Diego a few months ago. And she said, romance readers are saving the world. And here's why. Because when you read romance, you're a happier person. And, she's talking about science and like it levels up this and it levels up your oxytocin and all this stuff. And like you feel, your endorphins, you're happier, you go out into the world and you're nicer. And then when people see you and you're nice, then they're nice to you. Like we're being nicer to each other because we're reading these beautiful love stories with hope and
Yes. Hope.
redemption. Right. And so I would rather be that person in the world. I really would, than be the person in the world that's like a know it all, well, I don't know if this is how I was. This is how I wanted to be. I really wanted to know everything. But now I'm like, I don't care. I just want to be happy.
Yeah. I feel like we walked that same journey because I used to read stuff like that. And I wanted to dive deep, especially with when I had my kids, because I was like, I didn't
Yeah,
understand it. And I was like,
me too.
and then now I'm like, me knowing a lot of it hasn't changed anything. Like it
For
hasn't made
sure.
anything better necessarily. Well, maybe in some ways, but I'm like, I just want to be happy.
I just want to be happy too. And like, I don't know. I think once you read enough nonfiction in focused areas, my realization was like, oh, it's all the same. I didn't know there was only so much information people had, and then just everyone's telling it a little bit differently. But like, there's not that much new
Yeah,
information in the world. Do you know what I mean? So I would just read the same thing over and over again in different authors. And I'm like, I don't know. I'd rather read the same thing over and over again if it's going to be romance.
exactly. Because it's never the same. Every story is
Exactly.
different. They could have
Every
the
story
same
is different.
tropes, totally different story.
I mean, speaking about the Vegas Heat series, like I think it was Curveball that was the first one.
I think so. Yeah.
Have never read, and I've read many books, better a better like long distance romance than that book. And it was so real and so passionate. And you were like, yes, this is right. This is what it feels like when you can't see someone. And then all of a sudden you have the weekend together. And it's like that to me, I will never forget it because I just was like, this is so this. And I had a long distance romance with my husband when we first started dating. So I was like, this was our story.
Yeah, because you have that background, and she did such a good job at bringing that complexity, but not making it. I mean, it was heavy because you could feel like the pining, but it wasn't heavy in the sense that like they were just moving through their story until they could get to that point, and it was
Yeah.
endearing and it was hopeful, and like you said, it was passionate, and it was just
Yeah.
you could feel it. I felt like I was a fly on the wall in that relationship.
Totally. Yes. I agree. And those are the best books where you're just like so in the world, you leave the book and you're like still thinking about it and you're not quite back
Yeah.
to the point yet,
Yes,
I
and
love
they
that.
stay with you. They're, like, rent free in your brain, and they stay with you,
Yeah.
and I think that's the
Sure.
best that you can hope for
The
after
world,
reading.
oh, for sure. Like the worlds that Shel Sloan built in that series. Like I still think about that diner all the time.
Yes,
I
yes,
want to go there. I
me too.
really like that town. I know that town. I know where things
Yes,
are. Just want to
yes,
live there.
yes, and, like, even within that, because like, you did voices for several different women in that story, but each one of them was completely uniquely that story,
Yeah.
and I just loved it. Like, I loved it. I loved the whole series is, like, one of my favorite that's, like, my comfort series, like, when I'm having a bad day, I go put that one back on and I re-listen to it. It's seriously one of
Oh,
my favorite au
she's so gifted.
she is,
Amazing.
and she's so funny. She's so
I
funny,
hope
and
her ears
she's
are bleeding.
she's probably I'll be after this interview, I'll be like, "Oh, I was talking about you, her ears," because she just unabashedly herself, and it comes out in her writing and when you bring that to life.
It does. Such a big heart. And every good romance novel has such a big heart behind it. And that's, a love, every story is a love story, right? Every single story is a love story or there's no stakes. So, it's just like about whether or not you want to call it a love story. I was watching James Bond. What was I watching? It was the Casino Royale movie. Have you seen the Casino? I know it was 100 years ago. They did a replay of it at the theater. So many was it, and I was like, "Oh, this is a romance novel. This is just straight a romance novel. There's nothing about this that is not what I just read. What is
Exactly.
happening?"
So I saw that in the theaters. I'm gonna be 40 this summer. I love I love that. That is so true though. Everything is pretty much that. That's always the stakes. I mean, there's other stakes involved too, but that's usually the general first theme of.
And it has to be that the love because otherwise it's like, "Okay, the world is ending. Why do you care? Because I love someone."
Yeah.
Right? Like there's always that heart at the center of every story. And so, we just do the love stories. We're not messing with the other filler.
Was there a moment, like, when you were in the beginning of your career and you were doing this and you're like, "Okay, this is really happening. I'm doing this." Maybe around the time that you transitioned from doing it, kind of more part-time to full-time. What was that moment like, or do you recall it?
I did. So I had just had my second kid and I needed something way more flexible than what I was doing. And I just decided like I'm just gonna really go for this. Like I've done however many books I'd done at that point, and I'm just gonna like send my stuff out to everybody and just really see if I can just get some results. And I remember actually reminding me that what I would do at the time is I would work for free whenever I wasn't working on a paid job. I would just work for free because I figured work begets work. And I want to be getting better and I want to be practicing and I want to be increasing my, resume or my books on Audible. And so I would just go on and accept like a, royalty share book and just do as many as I could. And eventually of course that turned into more paid work and then that became full time. But I do remember making that choice of, all right, I'm really gonna do this now. And then we did. The royal we did it.
For readers, we always have, our favorite tropes. As you as a narrator, when someone sends you over their manuscript or, like, requests to read their book, are there certain things that you're like, "Oh," like, it's like an excitement for you, like, "Oh, I wanna do this because this is, like, my favorite type of thing to read or narrate."
But it depends. I love the variety is the truth. I really love the variety. I wouldn't wanna read the same thing back to back to back, because I have so much choice. I'm, like, so spoiled. I'm, like, I'm doing a billionaire romance today. I did an MC, before that. I've got, like, a rom-com after. Like, it's just so much fun to get to do different things. But I do love rom-com. I have a comedy background. I was a musical improviser and improviser before this. So, I love telling a good joke. And I love fantasy. I love what you can get away with in fantasy. I love that you can make up any rule and make it the rule that's happening in America right now, but it's happening in fantasy. And I'm like, I see you. I see
Yeah.
what you're doing. You know what I mean? And it's just so relevant and also so otherworldly that I think fantasy in its own right has this incredible power to shine the light on things that we need, more understanding of. Because like we look at this stuff and it's like, oh my God, I can't believe they're treating the fairies this way. Well, who are we treating that way?
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like
Exactly.
they
It
hate the
shifts your
fairies.
perspective,
Yeah. Yeah.
and
So I love fantasy. I think it's so powerful. I like all the stuff. I don't know. This week I'm reading a book about the conflict in this book is that a billionaire and his wife are having a fight over who can throw the biggest and best party. And I'm like, okay,
out of all the things you could be having a fight over, at
we'll
least
just
it's fun.
we'll just do a Real Housewives episode. I'm so okay, sure, great. Just show me all the pretty things that you're gonna pick out for the parties and we'll call it a day.
Yeah, that's great. I like it because, like you said, it can shed light on really heavy topics, and it can do it in a way that is not, like, in your face or attacking. It can feel removed, right? Because you have that fantasy element, but then at
Yes.
the same time, it can take us out of this world that we're living in and put us into somewhere else where things may be dire or maybe really happy, like a rom-com, and even in that regard, there can be things in that story that we could then take into our daily life and shift our perspective.
Yes, absolutely. And that's what reading does, right? Reading opens our minds. Reading, I mean, we can start our, soapbox now, but like reading is empowering, especially for women. I think that one of the things that makes me the most passionate about this career is that we get to empower women and free them from shame, right? And connect with each other. That's like the three most important things I feel like you need for any revolution is like feeling empowered, feeling connected, and feeling like you can stand in your own skin and you don't have to be ashamed of who you are. Let's
Exactly, and
do
I also
this.
feel like it's a new renaissance time for us. I was talking to
Yeah.
another author about that, and she said that too. She felt like our ability, because before it was a male-dominated area a lot of the time other than, like Jane Austen and Agatha Christie, like, those were the big main women, and Beatrix Potter back then. There weren't many female writers, and now there's, like, a plethora of them, and we're
Yeah.
being able to be heard and be seen, and all different dynamics of relationships. And that's what I love too, is that everybody, there's just love. It doesn't matter if it's a male male, female female, a male female, or what I
Yeah.
choose. It all is centered around love and this sense of deep found family. And that's like the biggest thread I see with most romances. And those are two of my like favorite. Like when that's in a book, I'm like, oh, I want to read this because
I know.
everybody's
I
connected.
love that too. I love a good found family because we all need them.
Yes.
Like, who doesn't need a found family? I
Yes.
want one, please.
Exactly, yes. I'm taking not applications, you can just join me. Like, you
Oh,
can
good.
just
Okay,
start.
good. No application necessary. Yes, I'm in.
Exactly. So what does a typical recording day look like for you?
I record a lot, so much. So, I mean, a typical recording day, this is interesting because I actually just launched a course on how to become an audiobook narrator. So I did have to go over this and like put this all into something. Yes, check out my socials if you're interested in becoming an audiobook narrator. So, a typical day is like prepping a script, replying to emails, auditioning for things if I have to audition for things, recording pickups, from titles that are already done, and then recording. I try to record right now 3 finished hours per day, which is a lot. So that's, a chunk of time. And social media stuff, try to do my social media stuff so that I can stay connected with people. So it ends up being a really full day, even though like some of this stuff doesn't look like a full 9 to 5. When you put it all together, it's like it's a pretty full day in the booth.
Yeah, it sounds pretty full. And I've heard, like, especially, because there's different types of narration, so maybe we could talk about that. Like, there's you're solo narrating a book, or you could be a dual narrator, and now duet is very popular, and I've heard
Yeah.
it almost doubles the amount of time and work that you have to do to bring it to production. Is that what you find?
I think I'm one of the rare people that really likes duet. Maybe from my acting background, I like doing the wild lines. I like coming in with dialogue. That feels exciting to me. I don't know. I think it depends on how you're prepping. And one of the things that we do as well, yes, is coordinate with other narrators and try to figure out, what are you doing for this voice? What are you doing for that voice? Do we have an accent here? Give each other notes, give each other samples. So it's definitely more work to coordinate with somebody else than it is to just make all the decisions yourself. But it's also so fun because who doesn't love a good dual narration or a duet? I think I don't know. I think it's all great, and and again, I like the variety. I like to be able to do a little bit of this and a little bit of that. I have a duet next week.
Awesome. So
Yeah.
when you're doing a different voice, so, for Rolling Hills, for example, we can use that one because, you have several different voices that you had to do with all the different characters. How did you remember each voice?
That is a very good question. So, how I remember is I keep a little voice sample in a file of each character. And because I know myself so well, when I go back and listen and this girl is talking like this, I'm like, oh, okay, I know what she's all about.
Yeah, you can do that. So do you have to prep your voice like, as singers, they do vocal warm-ups and different things like that? Is that something you have to do also?
It depends on how I'm feeling that day. I probably should do more warm-ups than I do. I don't typically do a lot of warm-ups, but I certainly do have to talk. Like if I'm trying to come in fresh to the booth and I haven't talked to anybody that day, like that's not going to work. I need to my warm-up sometimes is just talking to someone so that I can get like my voice on the rails
Yeah.
and then go in. And then as far as the character voices, I think it's important to keep them all within the range of what's comfortable because your voice is your instrument, it's your career. And so we cannot like burn out our voices at the cost of getting a cool character voice for that
Yeah.
one book. So
Yeah.
that's pretty like small shifts between the voices. It's mostly about the point of view, really,
Point of
and
view.
not about the voices. Yeah.
Okay. Is it difficult doing like the POV of like, let's say you're doing a dual narration, so you do actually talk for the male in that chapter that you're reading. Is that difficult for you?
I like doing male dialogue. I don't know. I just like my male voice. Some people have trouble with it, but I've always kind of just like got like you get down here and now you're talking like and now I got a southern accent. I don't know what happened.
I just love that. Every time I try to like mimic a guy, I feel like I sound so dumb. So, and I think you sound so good when you do it. I don't know how you do it.
Okay, because I think women do it in two ways. Women do it like how my kids do it. Hi, I'm dad. I don't want you to watch TV anymore. Right? Like that's the way the I think. And then some women, which I think is more successful, is to go down into like your fry voice, where if you just go down, you're a singer. If you like to go down, like up,
Down,
right?
down.
And then you start making noise down here, you start talking down here, and then you get comfortable down here, and then you can just have a little bit more, you know,
Have to practice that. Do a lower
range.
voice.
So you will practice that for your life. That will be a skill that you need to
Yes,
have.
I can put that on my resume for things. I can talk.
People will be like, but can you sound like a man? And you're like, I'm glad you asked. I
Yes.
actually can.
Well, it's like that game. Have you ever been to an event and they do the purse game? They should do that kind of game, but do that. Have you ever played that where they
Wait,
ask you what's in your purse and you have to like pull it out, and if you have a certain thing in your purse, I totally am Mary Poppins, so I pull out like all this random stuff.
I don't even have a purse. I have a this.
Oh my god, I have that too.
That's all
But no,
I have.
it's literally a game where they have a list of certain things. They say, "Oh, do you have a Band-Aid? Do you have a sewing kit? Do you have
My God.
antacids?" And like you have to everybody has to empty out their purse and tally up everything they have, and the table with the most like things wins. But that would be a good thing. Like do a one like that where can someone talk like a male or do
Yeah,
different things.
I could do that version. The purse one, you would not want me at your table. That would not go well for you. You'd
I
be like,
love
get out
that.
of here.
I love that. So when you're going through to prepare for a new book, you were saying, you do notes and different things like that. Is that do you read it first or do you just go in reading as you begin?
No, I read it first and I also use a prepper. So I use a prepper for specific things
Mhm.
like pronunciations, place names, like where, like just like set up everything. And then I read it for tone. Because I think if I was reading it to catch every single thing, I just couldn't move as fast as I'm moving. So I'll read it to get the tone and like the feel and the vibe and everything. And then I'll have somebody else like go through and, like highlight and do all that stuff.
Okay. So like the annotation, like of certain things that you need to
Yeah.
it's a lot that goes
And the
into it that I don't think people
pronunciations.
know. What was that?
There is a lot that goes into it. The pronunciations, I actually prefer to look those up in the moment because if I get them before, that's not going to really help me. I'm not going to remember
Mhm.
how to say a word, you know.
Yeah.
So I usually will just stop and look it up as you've seen me do
Yeah.
on lives, and then I have it fresh in my mind and I can say it. And sometimes I learn words. It takes me a while. There's some words I can never say right, and I don't know why. Every single time I'm
Because
like, no, this word.
I think you were doing Italian.
Oh,
I think you were
oh
doing an
yeah.
Italian word maybe? Or yeah, I'm pretty
Hmm.
sure it was an Italian or maybe a Latin word when I watched.
Yeah.
You were trying to look up how to say a certain word in Latin, and I was like, I would have totally
Yeah.
botched that. I would have done that really badly.
So would I if I didn't look it up. I mean, I can't speak Latin. Who speaks
Yeah.
Latin?
Yeah.
I don't
No.
know.
No. No.
But it's honestly, if I did this job 10 years ago. I mean, I did 10 years ago, but like 20, like before the internet, can you
Yeah.
imagine doing this job? People would have to call up a hotel in the town and be like, how do you pronounce your town name? And they'd have to
Yes.
tell them.
Exactly.
I'm not here for that. I'm not, no, no.
Exactly. We're spoiled in this day and age with all the things. And it's a great thing and a bad thing all at the same time.
It's true. It's true.
It's true. So which is harder to perform? A really emotional scene or setting up like the world building of a book?
Oh, that's a good question. I think the emotions, because I was an actor, I mean, I still consider myself an actor.
Yeah,
I am doing a
totally.
musical, so get excited
Yes,
for that.
totally.
The emotional part for me is normally a little bit too easy. In fact, I've had coaches help me to bring it back a little bit because it can be too easy for me to fall into the emotion. And I think, when you're narrating and you have dialogue, those two perspectives are different, even of the same exact moment. You know what I mean? So if you're like, I was running through the woods screaming for my life, and then you're like, help me, like you're not going to have the same
Sound.
emotion through both of those lines. So I've had to work on kind of pulling back from being too emotional, which can be really hard. I mean, it's like, look, you're playing a person who's having a breakdown and the person who's trying to calm them down.
Yeah.
The same scene and narration.
Yeah.
So it's a mess. Like it's for an actor, I don't know, it's very confusing. But you have to I think I've had to get really good at being present and connected, like I was talking about, like so that you can make those switches so fast.
And that is a very good point. Like, I didn't even think about that. So when you are, being, like you said, the dual person, you're being the one that's having like the panic attack, say, and then the guy that's trying to calm down. You have to jump back and forth. How do you keep your voice in that, like, to keep the right pitch or the right strain of emotion without, is that hard?
I think it's instinctual. I think it's less about thinking than it
Mhm.
might seem because, you're going from your body, you're going from your heart, you're going from your imagination, you're going from your after tools. But definitely there are times when I have to kind of stop and reset because it is hard. It is hard to be, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Okay, calm down. Okay. No, 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 I can't calm down. Okay,
Yeah. Just listening to you do it right now, I'm like, how is she doing that?
go through that, right? You're like, what just happened? But it's fun, right? Like that's why we do this job. That's why we are a lot of actors love to do this job because it's challenging, it's fun, it's creative, and there's a lot of growth and a lot of learning with all of the different things that we do, especially like another one is when we do accents. So I've done a scene where I was like a British person and a Southern person and another accent in this, and they're all talking to each other. And so you're like, if I was an actor on a movie, not only would I get a dialect coach telling me how to say every single word, but
Yeah.
I don't have to do any other accents. That would be the only one. So I could practice it. I could stay in it all day if I wanted to, but not when you're flipping back and forth between
Yeah.
three different people in a two-page scene. And you're like, now I don't know what's up, what I'm doing. It's really
It's
confusing.
hard.
It is hard. It is. And it's fun, right? It's a challenge.
Yeah.
It's like, it's both.
Yeah. That would be fun. That would be hysterical to see happening, right? Like being that fly on the wall and seeing it in live doing it, because then when we're listening to it, we don't see your face, so we don't necessarily think that it's one person doing it. It's in our mind 3 people, like you said, you're reading 3 people, but, like, seeing it in production is probably a head trip.
I think so. I think I should do a scene and like record it because I'm sure I have a different face for every accent and it'd be like weird to watch.
That would be fun. So what is, like, a small detail in narration that, like, us as the listeners, we don't really notice, but that really matters?
Think that the biggest detail that you probably don't notice that really matters is that we as narrators are not supposed to be noticed, if that makes sense. If I'm telling you a story
Mhm.
and I'm telling it to you like this and I'm really hoping that you're listening to the point of the story, you're probably like, what is she doing? I can't focus on the story because she's making weird sounds and that's not how people talk,
Yeah.
right? And so it's sort of our job, and I talk about this in the course that I do, but like it's sort of our job to describe the sunset. We're not here to say it was beautiful and brilliant and orange and purple and it was beautiful and brilliant and orange and purple. It's like we give you a chance to do your own imagining to and of course we're imagining too, but we have to make sure that we're not imagining for you and we're not telling you how to feel and telling you what it looks like, giving you the tools to be able to do that for yourself.
Yeah. I didn't think about it that way, but that is, yeah, because even though you're in there and you're bringing the character, you guys are kind of faded back because it's not really you, it's the
Right.
characters.
Right. And when it becomes about the narrator, it's not about the story anymore. It's about the
Yeah.
narrator. So we want to, honor the author and tell the story that the author meant to tell. And the author did not write the story with a narrator in mind
Yeah.
coming in, taking over
Yeah.
the scene.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But when you're doing these scenes, like let's talk about, a lot of books nowadays in like the dark romance genre have a lot of triggers. And I'm thinking like, on when I see an actor, they get so into the scene that it's almost like it's happening to them. With
Mm.
you reading it, is it a struggle sometimes getting through those scenes?
It's not for me. I think, again, from the acting background, that's something that, I mean, every actor has done everything that you could try to do because that's like, especially in high school and college, you were a theater major, right? Like you're just trying to make yourself cry and hurt like as much as possible. You get good grades. So I think that for me, it's more of a connection issue. Just making sure that I'm connected and present, and then being able to swap between those characters so that I don't get stuck in the emotion. But I mean, sometimes I read this one book, I will say, and I'm very, like, easy about this stuff. Like, I really will read pretty much anything because I think it's all deserving of being read, and someone wrote it because they needed to write it, and somebody else, wants to read it. And there was stuff in there that that I did feel was not comfortable for me, but I had to really keep remembering throughout that project, you know, this author wrote this because they needed to. And there was a huge following for the book. And the people who are reading this and listening to this also really want to hear this story. And that's really resonating for them. And maybe it's based on whatever it's based on, but I'm of service that way. I'm being here to provide a service to get this story to listeners. And it's not about me. And, you know, I don't know. So you got to kind of come in with service minded and author supportive.
Yeah. Yeah. I always wonder about that because I'm like, that could be hard, like to do those. Some of those scenes probably are harder. So,
Yeah.
do you picture the characters you're narrating? Like when you read like their descriptions, do they show up in your mind as you're narrating them?
Oh, that's such a good question. I mean, I guess they must, right? I never really think about that, but I'm sure they do. I'm sure they do because you know why? Because when I look at the cover, I'm like, well, that's not what I thought they looked like. So I feel like I definitely do have them in my mind's eye.
Have you ever gotten attached? Because that's like my whole thing. I'm emotionally attached to fictional characters. Have you gotten attached to maybe a book boyfriend or a character that you read for that it just stuck with you?
There, okay, this has never happened to me before. And like I said, I've read a lot of books. There was a character in, I don't want to get this wrong, it was Jessica Winter's Omegaverse series named Austin. And I don't know if it's the Starbrook Omegaverse series, I'm pretty sure. And there's a Southern character named Austin. And I swear, I had a crush on him from what I was doing. I was like, "Hey, how you doing?" I was like, "Oh," like I was like crushing on myself in a psychotic way that I don't understand and still don't and has not happened to me since. But like I would blush when I would have scenes with him, but it's me.
Okay, now I have to go get that one, and I'm so curious. What's this
Don't know what
Austin
happened to
saying?
me. He just was so charming. I was like, "Oh my god."
Oh my golly, I love that. I love that. So what makes it especially fun or challenging for you to narrate? Like, what is something that really, like, for lack of a better term, gets your juices flowing when you start? Is there something that you were like, "I really love this."
I love witty banter.
Okay.
I mean, if we've got witty banter, I'm there all day. You can't get me out of the booth because it's just so fun. I love enemies to lovers. I don't know. It just does it for me. I'm like, ooh, how are they going to get out of this one? Can't believe you
Yeah.
just said that. You know what I mean? Yeah, like I love a good problem to solve between the
Mhm.
couple. Like, how are they ever going to get back? I love fantasy, like I said. Like I love coming in and being like, "Oh my god, this world and this is cool and that's and the world's ending because of this." Like I just love all the world building and the creation and all the fun names that you get to make and the accents and the, creatures.
Yeah.
Um yeah, that stuff I think when I get in the booth I'm like, "Oh good, we have this today." And of course there's every book has its amazing qualities, but just off the top of my head, those are the ones
Yeah.
where I'm like, "Yep, we're here."
Well, within fantasy, when you're doing, like, a battle scene, is that exhilarating or is that sometimes daunting?
I like battle scenes. I heard someone one time, a narrator, compare a battle scene to a sex scene, and I was like, I could see that. I could understand why you would do that. I mean, I think Yeah, it's always easiest to narrate a scene that has a driving force
Mhm.
because you're getting to the end of the battle, you're getting to the end of the sex, like whatever it is, like you have a clear place
Yeah.
that you're going.
Yeah.
The only time I ever find it daunting is when in the past I have been narrating wolf pack books. So you've got like two wolf packs of four men on each side
Oh, yeah.
yelling at each other. And I'm like, I don't know, guys. I don't know how much different they're going to sound than each other. I mean, these
Yeah.
four are Russian and these four are American, but I really, beyond that, I don't know.
Yeah. That would probably get a little bit harder to, like, keep everybody in the
Right?
realm and keep
Yeah.
them all different
Like,
sounds.
I'm going to kill you. No, I'm going to kill you. And you're like, okay. But they're all upset. Everybody's just
I'll need a
upset.
timeout.
I'll need a timeout. Those
I
wolves.
love that. I love that.
Yep. Very
Okay.
emotional.
So I have to ask because everybody I know always is curious because I stand in the book lines at book signings and talk to all of the book girlies. So I always like to ask, so is it awkward recording the spicy scenes? Is it funny or is it just another day?
It depends. Now that I do it on live, it's so much better because we can just look at each other. I mean, I can't look at them, but you know what I mean? And I'm like,
Yeah.
we tough it out. Most of the time it's just another day. I mean, I record every day, so it's like there's not, but when it gets me, oh my God, what got me the other day? Something just got me. Now I can't remember what it was. I want to tell you what, but like sometimes they'll give me a line and I'm like, oh, I've never heard anything like that before. And that's a surprise. That's a shock where it's like, okay, that's wow. That's
Yeah.
impressive.
Yeah.
But normally it's all
Yeah.
the same.
I went to it was at Love in Vegas. It was one of the talks. It was like the spicy romance panel. And
Yeah.
one of the authors, I it was a new to me author. I hadn't heard of her before, but she writes a little bit darker, a little more like intense stories. And she was talking, somebody asked her what something was in her book and what it meant or like what it was about. And I was like, my jaw dropped to the floor when she was like explaining it. I was like, I have never heard of that. It's probably like you get like the firsthand knowledge of everything before everybody else does, also with doing those kinds of scenes when you are in the spicier realms of books. But yeah.
I guess. I mean, there's definitely things that have shocked me. There's a book I always talk about called Twisted in Chaos by I did a live with her. I was like, "I need to speak with you. Please join me for a conversation about this book." And she did, and we talked about it, and I was like, "What is in your mind?" And she said, "I don't think you wanna know."
Lee Beck?
Thank you, Allie
Okay.
Beck. Allie Beck
Okay.
did
There
this
we go.
insane series. There it is, Twisted in Chaos. First book in the series, which I think might be that one or it's the other one. Anyway, the first book, out of control. Like, things I've never I was like, "What is happening?" It is hard to surprise me.
Yeah.
And she did it. Hats off
Yeah.
to Allie
Yeah.
Beck. I got a lot of recommendations on the show today.
Oh, yeah, yeah, I like that. So I love to promote like indie authors and give a lot of, if there's something out there that you haven't heard of, that's why I love doing this podcast is because I bring authors and narrators to people that don't normally, have that, and they get to have this plethora of new reading material. So that's what I love to do.
Love it.
Yeah.
You're doing God's work.
Yep.
Yep, you are.
Helping one bookish girly at a time.
Right.
So yes, exactly. So have you ever had to stop a scene because either it's too intense or you're laughing so hard?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah, I laugh all the time. I laugh all the time because it's so funny. And here's what I love about it is like the people who are on lives with me are also laughing. So like we get it and we love it and it's serious, but also we can laugh about it because sometimes it's just that like surprising or it's different or it's funny. And that's the best part is like we don't have to take ourselves so seriously.
It's good to laugh. I feel like it's
Yeah.
keeps keeps our mental state in a good state when you're laughing.
It does. Medicine.
Is there anything that, we might be like surprised to hear in the production side of putting all of this together to then give us an audiobook?
I mean, the narrators almost never meet each other. We almost never record at the same time. It's usually just an email thread. Sometimes you meet them in person and you're like, "Oh my God, you're amazing. It's you. You have a face." But for the most part, we're all sort of faceless emails.
Yeah.
But you get to know people over email as you do in this world, day and age. And there's a lot of people who I think in the narrator world really want to connect with each other and want to find each other. And so, like in LA, especially, we've been doing narrator meetups sometimes where we'll just try to get out of the booth and go grab a drink, and like see each other's faces. And you would love to be there because we're all so excited to see humans.
Yeah. Yeah. Because it's
So
probably lonely.
we're so lonely. I'm less lonely now that I do lives. I unlocked the solution for myself, but some people are not doing lives, so they're
Yeah.
very lonely and they need human contact.
Yeah. I like that. So has there been like a narrator that's kind of like like a magical unicorn, like you'd love to work with them or you love to listen to them if you are an audiobook listener?
I just started listening to a Christina Lauren book narrated by Erin Bennett. And Erin is a friend. She is great. And I've known her for many years, but I've never listened to her. And I'm listening to her and I'm like, oh my God, you're fantastic. This is amazing. She's so. Have you listened to Erin Bennett before? She just has like a magical way about her narration that I just really resonate with. And I was like, started taking some tips, like, oh, I like how you did this, and I like how you did that. And so it's great. It's good. It's always fun to listen to other narrators. I always try to go on people's lives so I can hear them and support them. And I love that everybody's different. That's the other thing is like, I think people think, oh, I have to have a really certain type of voice to be a narrator. And that's not true at all. There's so many different kinds of voices doing so many different kinds of genres and doing all the same genre. A lot of voices in romance that are all different from each other. And that's great. Diversity.
Yes, exactly. It's a great thing that we have all this different diversity and you can meet people through books. Like you can meet a narrator that's maybe over in Europe and you like you said, you don't necessarily meet them, but you're connected to them and you get to know them and then you have a friend from afar. Like they bring everybody together. Books bring everybody together. That's like the biggest takeaway you can take away.
Books bring everybody together. And I do feel that way, going on live too. Like I have friends now in Australia and in the UK. It's like, if I ever go out there, you better believe I'm taking you to coffee and we're like talking about books, because we know each other. We
Yeah.
just haven't met yet, but we're friends.
Exactly. So there's two authors. It's Mackenzie and Dakota Fox. They're in Australia. I got Mackenzie's book back in like 2023. I had joined her ARC team and I have been on her ARC team since. And I've read like all of her books and I've done numerous posts. I've done an interview with her. Like I know her, right? Like I feel like I know her. And I just met her at Love in Vegas for the first time last year after
And how
knowing her all
was
the
it?
time. It was so cool.
Was it amazing?
Amazing. It was so amazing. And it was hysterical. I did a whole reel on it because I bought all her books that I read, right? I was an ARC reader for all these books. So I was like, I want them on my shelves. I had a stack of 23 books that I picked up from her table. And I was like falling over the hill. Like I was trying to carry all these books around, but I got to take pictures with her and her sister, and they're twins and they're adorable and they're such great writers. But it was like such a cool, like full circle.
That is so cool. I love that. How did you make it home with 23 books from one
I
author?
had more than that.
I know, from one author. I don't want to know how many books you got at the event.
Yeah, I probably had like 50 or 60, but I drove with my friend. So I
Oh my
brought a
God.
lot of them. Yeah. If you go on my page, I just moved. I just got divorced last year. So I just moved and in my bedroom, I've built a library as my sanctuary because I literally at this point own over 1,000 books between my kids' books and my books. So I'm considered a library, but I do not lend books out. You can just look at them, don't touch them, and that's it.
End of library.
Exactly, exactly. But it's on my page. I have 6 bookshelves in my room, and they're full of books. Like,
I love that.
you're on the shelf. Your books are on the shelf. I have the entire Rolling Hills series. Like, it's there. I'll find that reel and I'll send it to you so you can see it.
You
Yeah.
have to bring them the next time we see each other so I can sign them.
I'm totally gonna do that. I'm totally
Yeah,
doing that. That's a good
you
idea. I
should.
would love that. Because she signed them, so they would be signed by both. I love that.
Maybe sign my mouth. I know. That's the dream.
So, in your very rewarding career that you've done in this field, what do you feel is like the most like surreal part of it? Like from start to finish? Like, is there anything that you just are in awe?
I am in awe of the community. I really am. I mean, that's where it started to click for me that I was because audiobook narration as a job is great, right? But without the community, you're just sitting in a booth and you're reading a book, and that's great, and that's a good job, and, but when you're in the community and suddenly the book that you're reading is an author that you know, and suddenly the person that's blogging about it is a blogger that you know, and the co-narrator is somebody that, like, it's just so incredibly expansive and inclusive and positive. And like when I started going to more book events a couple years ago, that's where it really started to fall into place for me that, like, "Well, I love this. I want more of this. I want more community. I want more interaction. I want to know more people. I want to do more podcasts. I want to do more lives. I just really want to be in the middle of this incredible space." And that was a huge surprise because, like I said, I didn't read romance and I wasn't really online. So, like, I didn't know this existed, until I became a part of it. And now I was like, it's the best. Everybody should know about this.
Yes, exactly, exactly. And so I want to ask from the perspective of a narrator, because I ask authors, what do they think makes a great story? So I want to ask you that. What do you feel makes a great story?
I think what makes a great story is a lot of heart. A lot of heart and a lot of I think sometimes the best stories are ones where you can side with both parties, with both sides, where you're like, I really see why that happened. And also, I really see why he did that. And God, that's a hard problem. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because that's a real human problem. It's so easy to write the story where, like, the guy is a cheater and the guy did this and you're right and he's wrong. And I don't know. For me, like, I think we can go deeper. And I think we can, just I remember one story that I did where she had a miscarriage and they ended up getting divorced. And of course that's like he's the villain, she's the good, and then you got into it more and it was like, well, he was having this kind of crisis and he was really devastated and she was pulling away. Like it's always so much more complicated than that. And so at the end, you end up feeling like, wow, that's really tragic that they separated. Of course, she found the love of her life, so it's fine. But you don't villainize a character just because of their actions, because you can really kind of see how human people are.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. I like that. So, what would you say to someone who wants to get into narration? Like, what would be something that you would recommend or a tidbit of advice?
I mean, first of all, sign up for my course. I
Yes.
it's
Linked
called
below. Make it
I
easy
will
for
link
you.
it, but so it's called Real Talk: Insider Secrets to Getting Started in Audiobook Narration. Catchy. It's like a hard title, right? And what it is, it's me mentoring you through every stage of what it would take to get started and even giving you links, and referrals out if you want to do more. It's so extremely affordable because it's not meant to be like ruining your life. It's just meant to give you a jumping off point.
Yeah.
And that's what I would say. What I would say is to really learn about the business because I think that people think, "Oh, this is great. I can just get a microphone and record a book." And you can, but that's not really a business strategy, right? That's the talent part of it. That's the passion part of it. But in order to be someone who's working in this industry, you kind of need to know how it works. Like, did you know that I don't have a voiceover agent because I don't go through a voiceover agent? Did you know that I talk to publishers directly? Like, these are things that I think people kind of don't know unless someone's telling you.
Yeah.
So that means that I can email a publisher directly and say, "Hey, do you have any work for me?" Do you know what the publisher wants to see from you when you send that email? Do you know what they want to know about you? Because I do, and I'll tell you. So I think it's important to have somebody in your corner who understands this industry and can explain it because it's unlike any other industry. It's not like acting. It's not like voiceover. It is acting and it is voiceover, but it doesn't operate the same way.
Hmm.
Also, I would say that, I have seen very successful audiobook narrators who came from HR, who came from computer programming. Like, you don't have to be a trained actor to do this job.
Yeah.
It would help, I'm sure. But, like, if you feel like you can do this because you want to do this, you're probably right. You probably have a good instinct for it. So don't let that hold you back either. Like, everybody can do this. It's just about learning the skills.
I love that. Okay, so for us that want to see you out in the wild, are there any events this year that you're going to be at that we can go and meet you in person?
Well, yes, yes. Well, first of all, I will be at the Fringe Festival in June. So
Okay.
that's exciting. I'll be there doing the musical. I will be at Beyond the Read Authors event in June. It's in June, right? Is that in June? I might have to look at the calendar. This is, oh no, sorry, wrong. Raven's Spicy Reads in San Diego is in June.
Be there. So I'm there one day as a volunteer and one day as a attendee.
Oh my God.
I'm coming to
Yes,
see
yes,
you.
yes. Okay. We are hanging out for sure. Okay, bring your books. Okay, so I'm signing there. I'm signing at Beyond the Read Authors event, which I think is actually in July. Although I don't know when things are happening. I'm trying to look. And what else am I doing? Is that all I'm doing? I might be at Love in Vegas and I might be at Fall into Book Fest
I'm
in
going there too.
Anaheim.
So I'll see you twice.
Oh, good. Okay. Okay, good. Okay, good. And then yeah, if I have other stuff, I'll put it on my website. But
Okay.
that's what
So
I
we
have
have
for
the
now.
musical coming up in June. Is there anything else that you are allowed to share that we can look forward to?
What to share?
Book that's
That
coming
you can
out,
look
maybe
forward
releasing
to.
soon that you're narrating that you're allowed to talk about?
I mean, I think I'm allowed to talk about things. Just a lot of stuff. A lot of different stuff is coming out. Like I said, I do different stuff all the time. It's a busy spring.
Mhm.
Everyone's getting their summer reads ready to be listened to. So lots of stuff coming out. Also, I guess I should say that I do work with independent authors all the time. So I have a lot of independent author stuff coming up, which is really fun because then I get to talk with the author and like get their notes and perspective and like right from the source because with publishers you don't usually talk to the author. So I love working directly with authors and have a bunch of stuff that's, indie coming out, which will be really fun.
Do you have set times for your lives if someone wants to catch you?
I try to pop on TikTok and Instagram.
So turn the bell on. That's the
Turn the
key. Turn the
turn
bell
the
on.
bell on so that when I'm on, you're on.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you seriously so much. This has been so much fun. It is such an honor to meet you. I'm gonna like totally give you a hug if you're okay with that when I meet you in person.
Oh my God, I've got like two hugs buttons on at all times. I'm like, give me hugs.
Because I just love listening to you and I love your lives and your energy and you just have such a kind heart that you share.
Thank you. That means the world to me. Like I said, I really would rather be a happy, nice person than anything else. And so just to hear you say that, it's like, okay, I'm on the right path. I'm doing the right things. And I just am so glad to be welcomed into the community that I just admire so much.
Yeah, you bring our favorite characters to life with your words.
Thank you. Well, you're the best. I'm so glad I got to meet you and get to know you. I can't wait to watch your other podcasts and get to know more about your art and your writing and all the stuff that you do, your cards. You're so multi-talented.
I'm totally right brained. Ask me to do a math problem and you're out of luck.
Oh no, I don't do numbers. Numbers is not me.
No,
No numbers.
not at all. Phone a
We're
different
having
friend if you need numbers.
yeah, phone a friend. That's right. We're having a dinner at in San Diego at Spicy
Yes,
Reads.
definitely.
Yes,
Definitely.
lots to discuss.
Well, I've linked everything below, so follow her because if you aren't following her, here's your like notice, like do it now. And if you're a writer and you want to have an amazing narrator, here you go. So, thank you so much for joining me today and please share this with your friends so that they can discover an amazing new narrator if they have not. And we'll see you next time as we get another look behind the book.